House to Home, brought to you by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
All right, welcome back. House to Home time. We are talking with Liz and Gina once again from RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Now, ladies, I understand you guys have been getting some pretty interesting feedback from people you see on the street and over email about this segment. And recently, one bit of feedback was about long-term planning for property that's bought.
Right, we've been getting a number of different inquiries about different issues that people are encountering. And by the way, we do welcome them, and if we have the answers, of course, we'd love to assist. But one of the things Gina and I were just talking about is if an individual purchases a home, the question would be, what is your goal? What is your plan with that home? Do you have children? Is the intent to eventually deed it over to your children? Or is it going to another family member? These are important things to think about, because if something happens, for example, if an individual passes and the property, if Guam has a common a community property law here. So for example, if I pass, then automatically the property will go to my husband. So, or if we both pass, who does the property go to? It normally will go into probate. So if I have 6 children, then the question would be, okay, it will go into probate, and then there's a lengthy process to get that process going to either sell the property, divide it. So there are issues. Again, I have to comment that we're not attorneys, we're not tax consultants, but these are things that an individual should think about and consult the proper discipline to get information on that.
Yeah, and Gina, that is the default behavior of property that isn't formally stated, to whom this belongs and where this is going to, because then it lapses into probate, which can be kind of costly and very lengthy, right?
Well, it's definitely costly. And what we encourage people to do is right now, while you're around, make the decision. And a lot of family members that I've spoken to, they don't want to necessarily deed the property and give it over to their children right now. They don't want to pick which child, or they want to pick all of them, and that causes issues in itself. But what we're encouraging is, and I tell this to my friends, really, my family and friends that I'm close to, I tell them, make a decision. Because if you don't, a lot of times what happens is, everybody, our time will come, right? And at that point, the kids are stuck with the issue of taking it to probate is going to cost us a lot of money. And I've noticed that a lot of the children don't have the ability to do that. So the property ends up just sitting in limbo. It isn't really an asset to all the children or an asset to one particular person. Like if my intent was to leave it to a particular child, it doesn't go to that child because no one is really responsible because the decision was never made. And now the kids don't have the ability to go through probate because they don't have the monies for it. And
then you could possibly have something like, then the kids start fighting amongst themselves for the property, or they say like, I don't want the burden of the property and the responsibility, and then you have like family drama and nobody wants that. And is it also, Liz, because like Gina just said, you want to make sure when you do this not only of sound body but also of sound mind, because if for some reason you become incapacitated or something happens to you and you're not able to make a wise decision. Yeah, you want to have it when you're in a good place.
I'm actually in the process, my husband and I are putting together a trust, and then we're delineating all the different assets, what would happen if, in the case of a death. And I laughingly tell my children, hey, if anything happens to us, if you fight, you're not getting anything. I mean, it's a joke, but we've seen families where there have been issues and they can't settle the property and it goes into probate and it sits for a long time.
It's amazing what property can do when it's up for grabs and how kind of greed can creep in.
Yes.
And the thing that I want to add to this is what I'm noticing is families decide, parents decide they're going to do a will and tell I'm just going to put in my will and that way I don't have to worry about it. The will doesn't pass the property on. The will really is just to tell the court, which means in order to pass the property on, you've got to go to court. What the will is there to do is to give the court guidance on what your intentions were. And I mean, honestly, they're going to follow the will itself, but Nothing happens until you go open probate and put the will in probate so that the court can make that determination. And what happens is, okay, now you've got the expenses and you've got the time. And people think that that will is what they need to do. It's a step in going towards probate, but it's not a step in actually passing on the title. Like I've told a family friend, listen, and I'm doing this right now for them. They came in, she said, Gina, my mom's concerned. If she passes, she wants to make sure the houses go to me or my father. So I sat her and her father down and I said, okay, who does it go to? So they gave me the information. I said, okay, the best way to do it right now is to do a life estate. So right now it belongs to your mother. And if something happens to your mother, it automatically goes to the two of you. And all you have to do is get the title reports. I sent them to the appropriate, I sent them to the title company. I said, let the title company do your title report, and then they'll do the rest of the paperwork. They'll record the documents for you. And there's all kinds of complications, but in this case, it was very clean. They didn't have mortgages to worry about. So it's very simple to do.
So there's a very important distinction to be made between, you were just talking about a will is not completely conclusive, and a trust like you're setting up, Liz.
The trust pretty much shows how the property will go. The trust is actually a separate entity that you deposit all the assets into that, and pretty much it operates, that it dictates where the properties go to. So again, you'd have to make a list of which properties go where. Now, we've had situations where families, again, we talked about, are unable to pay for the probate. So we've had situations where a buyer comes in and they somehow get involved and they pay to have the probate process in order for them to purchase the property. But that's a risk that they're taking. I don't recommend that for anyone. It's a risk you take, because all it takes is one family member to dispute the issue, and then it puts a monkey wrench, and it throws everything out the door.
And then you have
then
one
you'd
of those
have to
squabbles.
start. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
well, unfortunately, we've got to go to commercial break. But you were saying you are open to feedback and everything. How can people get in touch with you? Because certainly we have just scratched the surface.
Well, they can reach us at 687-0911 or 687-8885. Again, we're not attorneys. We're not tax consultants. Our expertise is in the real estate side, as well as the real estate experience we've gone through for the past 20, 30 years.
We could at least start you on the right path, and then you've got to take it the rest of the way to complete the course. But we can steer you in the right direction.
Well, that's a word. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned, everyone.